It was supposed to be just another quiet night at the mall. No shoppers, no coworkers, just silence and security lights flickering overhead as I coasted through the massive, mostly empty parking lot in my beat-up Civic. I had done this 100 times. Pull around back, meet my employee, exchange a little Ziploc of green for cash, and vanish into the night. Easy, familiar, routine. But that night wasn't routine. That night, I did something I still think about with a cold twist in my stomach. Let me preface this by saying I'm not the kind of guy who stands out. Middle-aged, balding, just your average white dude in a car that probably should have been retired a decade ago. If I passed you in the grocery store, you wouldn't remember my face. And maybe that's what gave me the confidence to act like an idiot that night. To think I could just play around. It started with a flash of spontaneity, a flicker of impulse. I just closed up shop and was heading to the far corner of the lot, a secluded spot we'd used countless times before to conduct our little transactions. As I rounded the corner, I saw what I thought was her car. Same shape, same color, same placement. Parked to the left side of the light post like usual. And for some reason, something in me decided, let's be funny. I pulled up beside the car, dead serious grip on the wheel, arms locked stiff at 10 and 2, like a statue. I stared dead ahead. No movement, no smile, no words. And then I did it. The slow, exaggerated turn of the head, a dramatic neck whip to the left, and the grin, that grin, the one Jack Nicholson wore as the Joker, wide, unhinged, unapologetic, like I had just stepped out of Arkham Asylum and was about to offer someone a flower that exploded. And then everything shattered, because sitting in that car wasn't my employee. It wasn't anyone I'd ever seen before. It was a young black woman, maybe in her 20s, her eyes locked with mine, and I swear to God I saw her heart stop for just a beat before she snapped back into action. Her face contorted in pure primal terror. Not confusion, not discomfort, terror. She was mid-conversation, arguing with someone on speakerphone, I think, but the second she processed what was happening, she dropped the phone and floored it. Tires screeching, her car fishtailed out of the spot like she was being hunted. Within seconds, she was gone, just a red taillight blur disappearing into the suburban void. And I just sat there, mouth dry, feeling like the biggest piece of shit on earth. What had I just done? To me, it was a stupid joke, a second-long act of stoned theater. To her, it was something much darker, a nightmare made real. I couldn't stop thinking about it. The circumstances, the optics, the timing. A shady older man pulling up next to a woman alone at night, staring forward, then turning with a psychotic grin. No context, no reason, no safety net. She probably thought she was about to die. My thoughts raced. Was she already on edge? Had she seen someone else in the lot earlier? Was she in a fight with a boyfriend? Or was it just the sheer reality of being a woman alone at night in a strange place with a strange man leering at her? I'd unintentionally become that guy. The one women warn each other about. The one that makes them check under their cars before getting in. The one that makes them carry keys between their fingers like claws. And the worst part? I would never get to apologize. I would never get to explain. To her, I was a monster in the dark who pulled up next to her one night for reasons she couldn't and wouldn't want to understand. I sat in my car for a long time after that. My hands still gripped the wheel, but now they trembled. The parking lot didn't feel safe anymore. Not for me, not for anyone. Every echo of a distant engine or pop of gravel felt like judgment. Eventually, I drove off, heart pounding in my chest. I didn't make the pickup. I didn't get high. I didn't do much of anything except replay the scene over and over in my head, watching it unfold through her eyes. It's been years now, and I still think about her. I wonder if she told her friends. I wonder if she ever came back to that mall. I wonder if she triple checks every car she parks near now, just in case some bald lunatic decides to grin at her from the dark again. I don't smoke anymore. Not because I got caught or because of health reasons, but because I don't trust myself to make good decisions while I'm chasing a buzz. That moment was a wake-up call. Not just about buying weed in a sketchy parking lot, but about perception, about safety, about how easily we can become someone's villain without meaning to, about how thin the line is between a harmless joke and real trauma. To her, if she's out there reading this, I'm sorry, deeply, honestly. I hope you're okay. I hope you felt empowered for reacting the way you did, because you should have. Your instincts saved you from what felt like a real threat, and I can't blame you for that. All I can do now is learn, and try not to scare anyone else ever again. True horror doesn't always come from ghosts or killers. Sometimes it comes from the realization that you were the shadow in someone else's nightmare. And that's a weight I'll carry in the dark corner of that mall parking lot forever. Vienna at Christmas time is a fairy tale come to life. The air is crisp, the city glows with golden lights, and the open-air Christkindlmarkt in the city center swells with the scent of roasted chestnuts, cinnamon pastries, and mulled wine. It's crowded, yes, but festive in the purest sense of the word. Every corner feels safe, magical even. That's probably why I let my guard down. I was there on a solo holiday break, escaping work and responsibilities. Wandering the festive market with a cup of hot glühwein, I took in the scene. Children bundled in wool scarves, couples laughing arm in arm, strangers sharing benches and bites of bratwurst. Thousands of people moving in warmth and cheer. It felt like the safest place in the world. And then she bumped into me. I remember the jolt, just a light shoulder tap, and then I turned to see her. Blonde, light blue eyes, tall and statuesque, dressed like someone out of a winter fashion magazine. Her features were symmetrical, her voice soft and laced with a Polish accent. She apologized in English. "No worries," I replied. She smiled, and we struck up a casual conversation. Said her name was Kasia. Said she was from Poland, here to visit a friend for New Year's. She asked where I was from, and I told her I was American, but Polish in heritage. That got a smile, a little laugh, and then, like two strangers effortlessly slipping into rhythm, we chatted for 10, maybe 15 minutes, lost in the hum of Christmas lights and background carols. She said she was hungry. There was a pizza booth just a few feet away, the kind with a long line and locals giving nods of approval as they walked off with melted cheese and crispy crusts. I offered to grab a slice for us both. She agreed. While I waited, she lingered nearby, fidgeting with her gloves, checking her phone. I took the long way around, looping through the stalls to a side street I hadn't yet explored. The crowd was thinning now, a little quieter. Still safe, still festive, or so I thought. And that's when I saw her again, walking down a narrow alley that branched off from the main thoroughfare. She wasn't alone. Two large men, thick coats, hoods up, were walking closely on either side of her. They weren't talking. They weren't laughing. They were escorting her, and she wasn't leading them. My stomach dropped. My skin went cold. She was bait. The scenario unspooled in my mind almost instantly. She chats up an unsuspecting tourist, someone alone, someone disarmed by the lights and the wine and the flirtation. She suggests a quieter place, away from the crowd. You follow her down an alley, expecting more laughter, maybe a drink or a kiss. Instead, two men are waiting, or walking beside her, and you lose everything: your wallet, your phone, maybe your teeth, maybe more. I stood frozen, half hidden behind a lamppost, my breath puffing into the cold air like a warning signal. I watched them disappear around the corner, swallowed by the darkness between buildings. I didn't follow. I made my way back to my hotel room, in a haze, heart thudding in time with my footsteps. I kept looking over my shoulder. Not because I thought I was being followed, but because I felt like I'd stepped across some invisible boundary, out of the safe holiday movie and into something far grittier, something real, something dangerous. Back in my room, I triple-locked the door, pulled the curtains tight, and sat on the edge of the bed for a long while, processing. Shaken, grateful, furious at how close I'd come, ashamed that I'd been so easily lured in by a pretty face and polite small talk, but also deeply aware of the razor-thin margin that separated a pleasant evening from a violent crime. I kept thinking of her, how practiced she was, how quickly she shifted from charming to cold, how she probably did this often, perhaps multiple times a night, and how many others weren't as lucky as me. I still love Vienna, still believe in the magic of its Christmas markets, but now I know that even fairy tales have shadows. Even the most beautiful cities hide predators. And not all angels wear wings. Some wear smiles and ask if you want to get food somewhere quiet. So, if you ever find yourself wandering alone in a foreign city, caught up in the glitter of lights and the illusion of safety, remember this: sometimes evil doesn't chase you. It gently bumps into you, apologizes in perfect English, and leads you by the hand into the dark. And if your instincts whisper that something's off, listen. They might just save your life. I dodged a bullet that night, but someone else might not have. We never think the horror stories will start in the middle of a sunny afternoon at a gas station. But they can, and they do. It wasn't late, not dark, not stormy. Just a regular day in a regular town. I pulled into a quiet gas station, one of those spots just off the highway that feels a little too empty, a little too forgotten. A place where the fluorescent lights flicker even in daylight, and the security cameras look like they haven't worked in years. I was alone, no other cars, just me, the pump, and the quiet click of fuel filling my tank. And then I saw the van, a white panel van, no logos, no windows in the back, just sitting off to the side of the lot, like it had been waiting. The door creaked open, and out stepped a man in a brown suit. It wasn't a nice suit. It was wrinkled, out of place, like something pulled off a thrift store rack and slept in. He carried a plastic container full of some pink liquid, swishing around like Pepto-Bismol crossed with paint thinner. He walked right toward me. No hesitation, no smile, just direct eye contact and steps that felt too deliberate. "Hey man," he said, "you interested in buying some cleaner?" He held up the container like it explained everything. "Great for carpets," he added. "Stains, pet stuff, red wine, anything." I wasn't. I still lived at home. My parents weren't exactly in the market for bootleg pink mystery cleaner from a stranger in a panel van. I told him as much, trying to keep my tone polite. "Sorry man, don't really need anything like that. But something felt off. It wasn't just the cleaner, or the van, or the strange insistence that he had something I wanted. It was the way he kept looking at me, too intently, like he was studying my responses, measuring my tone, trying to decide something. The whole time I spoke, I had this low, steady buzz building in my chest. The kind of feeling you can't logically explain, but that screams something is wrong. My spidey sense was tingling and hard. He kept talking, asking casual questions that didn't feel casual at all. "Where are you headed?" he asked. I lied. "I'm headed to a party at a friend's house," I said. In truth, it was a low-key board game night. Maybe 4 people total. No girls, no drinking. But in that moment, I needed to sound busy, like someone was expecting me, like I wasn't someone who could just go missing unnoticed. He raised an eyebrow. "A party, huh?" He smirked. "I bet you get all the girls at a party like that." There was something in his tone I didn't like. It was playful, but off-key, like a joke that only he understood the punchline to. "I used to be like that when I was younger," he added, and then something shifted. I don't know if it was my answer, or my body language, or just something unspoken hanging in the air, but his posture relaxed. His face softened. Suddenly, he smiled, genuinely. "Hey, we're cool, man," he said, almost warmly. "We're cool." And just like that, he turned, walked back to the van, and got inside. No sale, no goodbye. He shut the door behind him with a heavy thunk, and the van sat there as I finished pumping my gas, trying not to shake. I didn't peel out. I didn't even rush. I didn't want him to know how rattled I was. But I never lost sight of my mirrors as I drove away. And I didn't head straight to my friend's place. I took 3 wrong turns, looped around 2 neighborhoods, and kept checking to make sure I wasn't being followed. He didn't follow me, but the feeling followed me for years. Here's the thing. Nothing happened. No one pulled a weapon. No threats were made. No police reports. No headlines. No true crime documentary. And yet, I know something was wrong. I don't think he was selling cleaner. I don't think that pink liquid had ever touched a carpet in its life. And I don't think I was the first person he approached in that gas station lot. Maybe he was testing me, seeing if I was alone, if I was nervous, if I'd let him get closer, if I'd say the wrong thing, if I'd come over and take a closer look at the van. Maybe if I'd been too polite, too curious, too trusting, I wouldn't be here to write this. It could have been a random encounter. But in my bones, I know it wasn't. We were cool because I passed some test he had in his mind, and if I hadn't, I wouldn't have walked away. I've told this story to a few friends over the years. Some laugh. "Weird guy at a gas station," they say. Others pause, nod slowly, and say, "That's how it starts, man. That's exactly how it starts." And maybe they're right. Because danger doesn't always announce itself with a scream or a knife. Sometimes it walks up holding a bottle of pink liquid and smiles while your instincts scream in your head. So here's what I've learned. Trust your gut. Even if it feels awkward, even if nothing technically happens, even if you can't explain why. If your body is telling you to be afraid, listen to it. Your instincts have been shaped by generations of survival. They don't owe you a logical explanation. That day, my instincts might have saved my life, and I've never looked at panel vans the same way since. Stay safe out there, and if someone in a brown suit ever tries to sell you pink cleaner at an empty gas station, just say no, and don't look back.